Coach. Are we waiting for Ed? No, we're not. Oh, okay. Nick Dembski, I was just talking to him. He seems, looking at the numbers, he looks like he's thrived in the past three Labor Day Classics. I know you talk about a lot just how much these players appreciate every opportunity they have to go out on the field and stuff like that, but do you think that the sense of that heightens maybe as players mature, as they kind of progress through their career?
Are you asking me if I think that they think the opportunities are less?
No. Or? Like their sense of appreciation just for an opportunity like this and a game like this.
Yeah, but I think it has to do with just maturing and age and understanding of gratitude. I don't think it has to do with opportunities or anything like that. I just think they, as men, their lives change, right? They get married, they have kids, all things, perspective changes.
Right. What'd you learn just from the last game against Saskatchewan here that can hopefully help you put up more than 9 points on offense this time around?
Yeah, we got to take care of the football. That's probably the number one issue.
Yeah. As far as it looked like Shea Patterson just the last time you guys played, it looked like he played pretty well despite it. You guys doing pretty well, holding them to only 16 points or whatever it was on offense. What's different in this case, though, going up against maybe the more wily vet but traditional passer in Trevor versus the more younger but mobile quarterback in Shea?
Yeah, Trevor knows where he wants to go with the ball pretty damn quickly, so you got to make that difficult on him. But that in itself is difficult because he's seen everything. He's been very good for a very long time. You're not fooling him. He's tough to play against.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You mentioned just after the last time you guys played, you mentioned that there, it seemed like the sense was solid job by the defense, but there was a couple things that maybe slipped through the cracks, kind of thing, whether it was an untimely penalty or a mishap of some sort mental. What improvements do you kind of want to see just this time around on the defensive side of the ball to maybe improve those or shore up those cracks, if you want to say?
Yeah, it seems like it was a long time ago. It seems like our defense is really gelled. Also seems like we've got a different host of pass rushers. So I think we are different defensively than we were then. Yeah.
Mike, how do you believe your cover teams have played this season? Where do you believe they're at?
Yeah, good so far. Yep. I think both Sergio and Jammer are getting the ball out there and giving their guys a good opportunity to cover, and I think our guys are communicating well and understand what the opposition is trying to do. And I think most importantly, they're trying to play fast, which is obviously a big part of it.
How has Michael Ayers been for you this season?
Yeah, he's been really good. He's been a real nice addition, right? So he plays hard. He certainly honors his teammates with the way he gets down there. Maybe he's one of the first ones down, if not on a very consistent basis. And he plays the game the right way. So he doesn't say anything either. He just smiles and loves the fact that he's out there.
Gives the ball away when he scores a touchdown.
He's a good teammate. Yeah.
This is a fairly basic question, I guess, for someone like you, a coach like you, but how does a coaching staff know how to when it's time to give a guy more opportunities? Ayers was in on defense as well. How do you judge that?
I think you just pay attention in the meeting rooms and on the practice field as to how much they're digesting and how right they are when they get there, because they all get reps in practice. So I think at the beginning of the year, it looks like something, and they're learning one spot, and then they can go in and do a few different things, and then they're more right, even though they're doing a few different things, and then it's time.
And then just one final one. I don't know the answer to this. Is among a coaching staff, is a significant amount of time spent breaking down practice film?
Yeah, every day. Yeah, every day. I mean, there really wouldn't be film. We wouldn't. Here, put it this way. We'd be wasting the filmer's time if we weren't watching it. So I think we would watch every single bit of film that's filmed. We film walkthroughs, and they get looked at, right? So, yeah, that's the whole premise of it, right? You're only in the building for so long, and you're only on the field for so long. You can't practice. You're not out there. So a good portion of the day is spent watching the film. So the coaches and players just watch it now, but on a regular day 1 or 2, the coaches watch it post-practice, and then the next morning the players and coaches watch it, and you digest it. And given the systems we have now, most of the players come into the building having already watched it the night before. So they know what the corrections are already, right? They're pros, and like, again, it's contact sport, and you got to save the guy's legs. You just can't spend 5 hours on the practice field. A lot of it is spent in the meeting room.
What were the dugouts like in Iverwin when you were playing on the?
Yeah, if you got a good enough shot on a guy, they were perfect. You know.
Anything thrown at you back in those days? Is that a common occurrence on Labor Day there?
Yeah, it depends on which uniform I was wearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What makes this weekend special in the CFL? Like, is it the rivalries? Is it the history of them? Is it the little things like, I don't know, a battery getting tossed at a player? Like, I mean, what makes this special?
That's a fairly big question for a simple guy.
You played on it. You played in different rivalries. You've coached in different rivalries.
Yeah, never really spent a lot of time thinking about them. I think it's just, I'd say the intelligence of the league to keep that rivalry, those matchups going. I think there were a couple times where the matchup got changed and it never worked out. So rivalries are good for sport. We have a very old league with a lot of history, and our rivalries, the interprovincial or just down the road, the haves, have-nots, whatever you want to call it, those rivalries are always pretty special for the fans, and then the players, obviously.
There's been weekends in the past where these games haven't necessarily meant anything standings-wise. This week's different. I mean, you guys win your first place. Is there any extra, like, you're always going to tell me no, but there is,
Well,
right?
I always believe no. If I believe something else, I'd probably tell you something else.
There's 10,000, I don't know how many Bomber fans travel every year.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people that, this is a huge game.
Yep.
And on top of it being Labor Day.
Yeah, it's a big game. Once again, in our room, we'll always try. I'm not saying we're successful, but we'll always try to keep it pretty even-keeled, level, and focus on the work that's being put in and not focus on the outcomes.
I mean, for you and your players and for the coaching staff, how does it always feel playing in the Labor Day Classic every year? Is it always just like very exciting, always down to the wire?
Well, I mean, it's a pretty interesting place to play going into Regina. I mean, the fans are pretty passionate. You certainly, everybody that you look at when you're there will be wearing green of some sort. They all have jerseys. They all probably have second jerseys. They travel far to go to the games, and they're passionate fans. So I think every player, whether it's home or away, wants to play in front of a full house. It makes it pretty special.
Yeah, and then to see some of those fans that have come out all the way from Winnipeg to Saskatchewan, to see that blue and the crowd against the green, how does that make you feel?
Yeah, our fans travel too, right? So they don't take the Bomber fans do not take a backseat to anyone in the CFL anymore.
And then how's the rivalry this year?
Well, it's tight, obviously. 1 point separates us. But once again, we're not really focused on any outcome, just working on the process.
I'll just have one mic. How you doing, by the way?
Good, Ed.
Quick one. What have you seen in the growth of Jordan Younger as your D coordinator this year?
Yeah, I think once again, growth is a pretty interesting word. I think JY showed up in the CFL extremely intelligent and ready to go. And I'm sure he would talk about the learning and the processes he went through. And understanding the nuances of this game and the guys he latched onto to learn as much as he could, but he's always been and always will be. He's a lifelong learner. He will never be satisfied. He'll never believe he's arrived. I think he takes joy in, for that bit of time that coaches do, I'm sure he'll take some joy in an outcome and then, get right back to work. But he's always, it was quite evident how smart he was when he showed up. And, I think it's just a natural progression as he goes along. He could have been a coordinator a long time ago. Absolutely.
Zach's numbers against Sask are uncanny good the last couple of years. Do you find that some players just have a knack against certain teams, or is that just the way it lands?
Might be the way they play us, system-wise, right? Different coordinator this year, though, so we'll see.
Yeah. Stanley still on track to play?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And one last thing. If you look at just Winnipeg and Sask, and not just this weekend, but throughout the year, the league looks really healthy in these two places. Not as healthy in others. You know what it is about these two markets that the CFL's working so well?
I don't.
No.
Bottle it up and sell it.
I was going to say that if you knew.
Yeah,
Could use it elsewhere.
sure. But they're working hard, though. Across the league, they work hard. Every franchise works hard to do their part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.